So today, it's not maybe the major driver, but I think we progressed quite a lot because it's a big transformation towards software and so on. And we started the journey in Orange. Started with OBS, our arm for the business market. So we launched some EasyGo service last year with big enterprise customer at the international level. So using some kind of SDN on let's say small VNF. So it's working. So I think we did some quite good progress on that now. We are able to provide a common infrastructure, and we can put a lot of VNF on top of it. And at the end of the day, maybe in 2-3 years, we can see the benefits in terms of cost, in terms of agility of SDN AV. So I think we are quite well in advance in the journey. We knew that it should take time, but 5 years is not so much. And I think we are quite happy with the journey today.
How do I put the pieces together? Because now we are not talking about whether these technologies are feasible. We are no longer. No one questions that. We are talking about whether the components can work together and you can create a POC. It's not about that. Yeah. It's about how can I make business out of this in a manner that is more convenient than the way of operating that I knew before. And that is precisely the challenge that we are embracing in Telefónica. So we've been following a bottom-up approach here to discover any gaps that were in the underlay layers while getting ready for the real step that is doing it at large.
If you go off and you look at it, there have been so many different barriers to making this thing happen. One of them is if you look at a lot of the earlier solutions, they were one of two. They were either extremely restrictive, siloed, as you mentioned, full stack solutions, or they were just completely do-it-yourself, right? Yeah. Here, have it. Go figure it out. No, it's easy. Don't worry about it. You're good to go. And people didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have the engineering budgets to be able to do it. They didn't understand the full complexity of that. That and, well, how do we take this and integrate it into our legacy environments, right? What do we make of this thing? We still have these services that we need to deal with, these legacy services. How are we going to integrate that into our environments? How are we going to automate it? How are we going to troubleshoot it? The cost, don't get me going about the cost of it. It's just huge.
So, do you think then that SDN has been not sidelined, but to some extent ignored? My view on this when I first heard about NFV and its relationship with SDN, there was something like parallel railway tracks immediate infinity. They're very close, but they seem to be very close, but they're separate. Do you think that message is understood, and is it now well known that NFV really, to work properly, is predicated on SDN as well?
I think you have a great analogy there in terms of parallel tracks. Yes, there are parallel tracks, but for train to move, you need both tracks, even though. So there you go. I think that as people get into deployment, absolutely there is an understanding that you need that degree of automation and centralized control, as you were talking about all the trends around DevOps and so on. How you deliver them, SDN becomes a vehicle to provide all of that. And of course, there's the element of if you go down one layer in terms of routing, in terms of service chaining, and last but not the least, connectivity to the WAN itself. Because one of the things has been that the telco cloud on the NFV environment is not just distributed into a centralized data center to a point of presence, but also at the WAN edge itself, all the way to the CPE. And SDN, a centralized control management plane for the network, becomes a way to stitch all of it together, and you realize it as soon as you get into a deployment.
I think we're at the point where we've realized that, as you say, it's not about saving money. There's not business to be made to saving money. We all want to save money, but if we don't have the opportunity to increase our revenue, then by creating new services, by giving us more flexibility, I mean that's the promise of this whole thing, is the flexibility and the agility to be able to create new services. And with general purpose compute and the advances that we're seeing in the industry now has gotten us to the point where, we can add new services on the fly. We can create those new revenue generating opportunities. So I believe we're there now.
if I had to summarize the goal of this, I mean, it's like being able to do things at scale, and that means treating things that are similar in a similar manner, but looks equal to you. Why? Because that's the path for several things. One is obviously for having interchangeable components that you can feel that you can replace for the best in breed. That is very important in some of the markets. But also that you can, if it's effortless to introduce new services, or could be almost effortless, in an environment like that you can feel free to try. And if it does not work, pivot. Because the cost is not varied. And that is super important in a situation where you have that big capillarity. If you have the infrastructure there and it's for a specific purpose, either you are right in what you are betting, or it would be a disaster. I mean, and so we are, in that aspect, what we are expecting it would be easy to have the capacity and allocate the capacity as we need in real time for whichever new service that we want to launch.
Our objective is clearly to help our customers, to make them happy. So I think also in the past we were managing the network like boxes and like pets, like said Wendy this afternoon. Now we have to change our mind. We need to have the customer in mind and to have all our efforts towards the customer on how he experiences his services and so on. So we believe that let's say machine learning, intelligence artificial can help to predict some let's say some problems that can face a customer. So that's something we are working on today. So we not with SDN NFV, I mean, just collecting some data, trying to analyze this data, correlating from some data coming from props, from radio access part, from let's say from SMC and so on. So we are doing that today. It's true that we in this conference we heard a lot about automation, machine learning, and so on. So, but we have to be careful because to be able to do that, we need to capture all the data from the VNF, from the infrastructure, and so on, and to collect them, and after, when you are able to collect all this data, let's say in a consistent manner, after you can put your advanced tool to run some analytics, machine learning, and so on. So, but today it's true that's not so obvious to collect data from a radio access part, from infrastructure, for core network, for OSS, BSS. So we have also internal challenges within our organization to share all the data coming from the various sources, and to let, let's say, anyone to put its tools to analyze it and so on. And you can also have some tools that can be used after for the service orchestration, to react and so on. But we are not yet there. We have, as said Javier, first layer by layer to be sure that the infrastructure is working fine, be able to put some onboarding VNF as automated as much as possible. After, we'll try to put some machine learning, analytics tool and so on, but step by step.
Yeah, I would like to add something on that, by the way. Yeah. It's about the data, because I fully agree with you. It's sometimes less data is better. No, I'll tell you what. For years we were running campaigns of traffic analysis and prediction for planning and all that. Sometimes we discovered that less is more. I mean, if you have what you need is not many tabs everywhere, but having a sound strategy on what the data that you are collecting and how.
But how do you know which is the right data?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, but actually it's the data that you have any decent chance to correlate, and that correlation is not spurious. That is the definition. And most of the data that you are hearing in a conference like this is impossible to correlate after.
Right.
Okay, so the situation...
So we need to correlate it in real time.
No,
we need to analyze it in real time. We need to analyze it closer to, the network.
That is the point. And I think that most of the things that we are hearing are not connecting the dots yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they will connect then in 5 years. No
Yeah, in 5 years. Yeah, I agree.
maybe.
Now they are discovering that there is some data
Yeah.
that probably
Yeah.
will be interested.
Yeah.
In 5 years, they
Yeah.
will be talking
Yeah.
about correlation. Now we are talking about automation.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about correlation.
Maybe if you're talking about the end state of the network, maybe a slightly different perspective or slightly different point of view. If we step back a little bit from technology here, right? There is a change in how end users perceive value, and it's evident if you look at Netflix, if you look at Amazon, if you look at Google, and the change in value is the value end users provide is in the experience, and it's the experience that matters, which means you gotta focus on the needs and automate the means, and that's where we need to get networking to. The consumption model needs to change, and how we consume the network, which means that it needs to be application aware, it needs to be highly agile, it needs to have the right data, less or more, I don't know. If I look at my social media, yes, sometimes less data is better. I don't want to see things that I see on Facebook.
I was
But-
more, by the way, the more the better.
yeah. So I think it's all about that consumption model and reducing the gap between application and network that has existed, both in the data center and the WAN. That's sort of the end game we gotta aim for 5 years from now, when we are back in this panel with lesser hair and
Exactly.
Yes.
If I've got any left.
yeah.
We'll have to draw it to a close there. I'm really sorry because it's getting more and more lively, but we are out of time. So I'd just like to say to you all, thank you very, very much for being here. Again, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.